Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on what side of the pond you're on, and welcome to an extra special edition of Across the Pitch. My name is Phil Kennedy, and I'm here with my co-host Tony Robinson, where today we resume our Accrington Stanley current player interview series with a guy who signed a 2-year contract for Accrington over the summer. He's played on the back line, several different positions. Originally was with the Aston Villa Academy in the early part of his career. Also played for Port Vale and Leicester City before coming over to Accrington. Welcome to the show, Mitch Clark. Thank you for joining us today, Mitch.
No problem. Looking forward to it, and I can't wait to see how our chat goes.
Yeah, Mitch, it's Tony here. Thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate the time, taking your time for it to spend a few minutes with us. And I just wanted to wish you a belated happy birthday, because I guess you had a birthday a few days ago, and you're turned a ripe old age of 23.
Yeah, I'm feeling very hard, but I appreciate it.
I got trainers that are older than you.
Yeah, I see you were born in '99, which is the year I graduated high school, so that makes me feel old.
Well, I'll tell you what, Phil. All the good ones are born in March, so not giving away my birth date, but anyway, all the good ones are born in March. I guess I'm interested to see that you were born in Nuneaton, but you play for Wales. How's the connection there, Mitch?
Yeah, I get asked this question all the time. So it all come down to my nan, who's originally from Wales, and she ended up moving down for work. I can't remember what work it was, so that's the only reason I'm from Nuneaton and playing for Wales, because my nan, and to be honest, I'm quite grateful for it, because it was a very good opportunity that I had.
Have you got a family connection to the Northeast?
Yes, both my grandfathers were from Newcastle originally, and where I'm from, it's quite big on mining, and they moved down from the Northeast for there, so that's where the connection is for there.
Are they Newcastle fans?
One of my granddads wasn't a football fan, but my other was a massive Newcastle fan, and he lived and breathed like you guys do with Accrington.
It's when if you're a football fan from the Northeast, it's like it's all in or nothing, isn't it? Yeah, big time. Especially whenever I get a chance to go to Newcastle games, which is very rarely now because we're on the same day. But when you go there, every person's in a black and white shirt, and you can just see how much it means to them. Before I turn it over to Phil, I got to ask you one question. How pissed off were you that the referee with that red card at the end of that Wickham match?
Yeah, it was disappointing. It was disappointing because I me personally thought it wasn't a red card. I was there trying to shoot. My studs weren't up, nothing. It weren't high, but I guess when you got players surrounding the referee, he just got bribed really, and I was quite annoyed because I was in good form and then 3 games away from the lads, so it was hard.
Well, I noticed when I saw it and I watched it, and I mean, the player come in from the side, and you were, I mean, your focus was forward and on the ball, reaching the ball, and he sort of come in, and I initially thought that he was getting the foul against him, and I was totally dumbfounded when he pulled out the red card, because it just ruined, I mean, it puts you out for 3 matches and it had no impact on the match, and to me, it wasn't even a 50-50 ball. It was definitely not a red card.
No, yeah. When it happened, I knew that he got the ball before me, but at no point when I got up off the floor, I thought it's a red card. I thought it was a warning at the max. And the worst thing was, the time was over the added time, and it was pretty much the last kick of the game.
Well, before we move on to the next football question, one thing I wanted to kind of go back to is, so when we When we first started the show, being a North American-based show, one of the things that we would do is kind of poke fun at how Americans might maybe misunderstand some of the town names or team names and things like that over in England. And we would do things like, we're the show for people who think Plymouth Argyle is a kind of socks or something like that. And so you were born in Nuneaton, and if we were doing that, might be would say if somebody offers you black pudding, I'm not eating that.
That's quite funny, actually. It's quite funny actually knowing what other countries, etc., how they understand the word is black pudding.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it wasn't that many years ago I was saying stuff like Leicester City. So.
Well, you do still, Phil. You still call it the Premier League instead of the Premier League, don't you?
I might. I guess I don't know the Premier League.
It's just the way it's a different, like it's potatoes or tomatoes. I mean, we say tomatoes in North America and it's tomatoes in England. So anyway, enough of it. We're not doing it. We're not doing an English class on this, Phil. So
yeah, let's go back to football a little bit.
Yeah.
So now you started your youth career with the Aston Villa Academy, and you were there from 2017 through 2019. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was originally in the academy from the age of 6. So I was there very young, and then I signed my scholarship in 2017. So when I was 16, I signed my scholarship. I got offered my pro at 17, which was a year earlier. I had a really good time at Villa. I made my competitive debut in the Carabao Cup, it was at the time. That was in front of 18,000 fans, and that was probably one of the craziest moments of my career, playing in front of Villa Park. It was a very good experience. And regards to how it was, there's only one coach that really not one coach. Sorry, there's quite a few. You got Kevin McDonald, Mark Delaney, who was a really good footballer I looked up to Mark, and so it was really good there.
Then after that, you made your pro debut with Port Vale. You went on a loan spell, it looks like, in 2018, and you played 40 matches for Port Vale. So that was a big part that you played in that season. So what was it like getting to play so much at such a young age?
Well, it was before I went on loan, Villa said to me, Vale want to come in for you, but you're going up as backup. And I was all for it because obviously I'm still a young age. I just wanted to get maybe a couple of first team appearances under my belt. And so when I signed there, wasn't expecting to play much. So to get that amount of games at such a young age was really beneficial for me. And to be honest, the fact that I played 40 games in League Two at such a young age, but also it was a relegation battle, which really made me mature as a player, because being in a relegation battle at that lower league, it's people's livelihoods, so you're fighting to keep people happy, and yeah, it was a really good experience.
I remember that was quite a battle in League Two that season. There was really about 6 teams that were just about 1 point apart there at the end.
Well, well, you mentioned Port Vale too, and I think it's worth mentioning. And sorry to jump in, Phil, but you've got 3 different loan spells at the same club, which is not very common. Was there just a nice mutual respect for each other?
Yeah, obviously when I play 40 games from it and they come back in for me the following season, I knew I was going to play, and I got on well with the gaffer. I knew the lads. It was a really good club, and obviously you can see that when I went back for the 3rd time, The second time I went there, we just missed out on the playoffs due to COVID with points per game. So that could have been a really good experience. But that Port Vale, I owe quite a lot to them because they helped me a lot with I'm getting on today.
Yeah, and then in this summer, like your contracts with the clubs that you were out of contract, basically is what I'm getting at, and you had a trial with Blackpool in July of last season before coming over to sign on for Stanley. I'm always interested at that time when you're. I don't suppose is it a question of you looking for work, or is it more a question of several teams looking at you for to give you a contract? How does that work, and from your point of view, and how do you handle that summer?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest, because obviously for you to be signed, teams have got to like you, and then it's vice versa. Obviously, the club's obviously got to suit me. But I went to Blackpool on trial and I did 2 weeks there, and I ended up playing against Burnley's first team at Blackpool's ground. And I thought I had a really good game, but the manager ended up ringing me the following day after the game and said to me, "Look, like, you played well, but we don't feel like you got enough experience with the Championship." And to be honest, I appreciate him being honest with me. And if I look at it now, if I signed there, would I play games? No. So realistically, me signing for Stanley was probably the best thing for me at this stage of my career.
And is the agent, how important is the role of the agent during this process?
Yeah, my agent was quite vital, to be honest. He had players that were at Blackpool. He had I think, is it Callum Johnson that was at Accrington?
Yeah.
My agency has him, so they obviously had links with Accrington, so that obviously helped.
Yeah, because I mean, it's you signed then in August, and like you said, it was it's worked out. Obviously for a good fit, because it took you didn't get into the starting lineup straight away, but once you got in, you really took hold of all of the chance, and I think that's what it is when there's so many competition for places in this team that when you get a chance to play, you've really got to perform, or else you're back on the bench. Is that how you look at it?
Yeah, 100%. When I first joined, I think I played the first 4 games when I come. And then I ended up slowly going out the squad and missing out the squad, which was hard for me. It was probably a difficult part of my career. It was probably the hardest part of my career for me to just sit there at home watching the lads play when I've been used to playing. But as I've got back into the team, I've tried to show my ability and work hard and keep my place in the squad. And if anything, I've thrived off not being in the squad to prove people wrong.
Yeah, because I think, well, you obviously did do well, because you were picked for Player of the Month for the club, and you were, as far as I could see, one of the first names on the sheet, and that in the right back position. And I guess this is the frustrating part when you get sidelined because of a suspension for three matches. Does it feel like you have to sort of prove yourself again, or like how do you handle it mentally that way?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, when I got suspended, I knew obviously I weren't going to be in the team for 3 games, and obviously I know the lads beat Charlton and drew to Sheffield. So obviously, to me, I probably know that I won't go straight back in the squad, but I got sent off, and if the lads have done well, then I can't complain. And obviously, all I want is for the team to do well. So as long as the team's doing well, I'm happy. But obviously, I want to play as much football as I can and help the team as much as I can.
When you've been out for 3 matches, and you want to, obviously, like you said, just want to get back in the squad and on the starting 11. When would you find out that if you're in the starting 11 or in the squad? Did he tell you the day before? So, of course, it's a away match at Plymouth. Do you find out Friday, or do you not find out till match day?
It depends, really. obviously on a Friday we'll do a shape like 11v11, like, and sometimes we'll do a start 11 versus thingy like the other 11. But sometimes he can swap and change, so it sometimes comes down to match day, which is kind of good because it keeps you on your toes.
So throughout your career, your primary position has been right back. I mean, I've kind of looked through all of your playing career, and I see that, maybe about 2/3 of the time you play right back. You also have played at the center position and even on the left side. That's kind of also been the case this year with Stanley, where mostly you've been on the right side, but you also have played some other positions, even in the deep midfield from time to time. What's your favorite position? Is it the right back, or do you just like to be out there wherever it's at?
I'll play wherever I need. I get told to play, but if I had a preferred position, it'd be right back, just because I've played there since I've been young, so I'm just used to that position. But as time goes on, and obviously I've been playing quite a lot of right wing back at the minute, so I'm getting used to that position, and I'm only going to get better from it.
Yeah, that wing back position is. Sorry, Phil. I was just going to ask.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, that wing back position is obviously more of a up and down position where you get into the attacking position and go forward a bit more. With your style of game, you're described as a pacey player with high energy levels, is the word people have described you, and likes to get forward. So would the wing back position be sort of something that you relish?
Yeah, 100%. I think with wing back, obviously, it's more attacking. Obviously, as you can tell in recent games, I like to get forward. So the fact that I can be a little bit higher rather than deeper, it possibly could benefit me in the future the more I learn the position.
Well, at the beginning of the show, I had promised you that Tony had some fun questions for you, and now is the part of the show where we get to that segment, and it just started off with some, like North England versus South England stuff, and then Tony has kind of started personalizing it a little bit. So let me turn it over now to Tony for the now world famous rapid fire.
Thank you, Phil. Just there's no right or wrong answers. Well, actually, there's a couple that are answers that will give you a verdict on. But and being as I say, like Phil said, we kind of started with sort of north and south, so we'll see how you handle some of these. Do you prefer mushy or garden peas?
Mushy.
Red or brown sauce on your bacon sandwich?
Brown sauce.
Black pudding with your full English? Yes or no?
No.
Oh, dear. That's the wrong answer, Phil. Do you have a favorite band or a favorite musician you like to listen to?
Yes, believe it or not, ABBA.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I know them, Phil. Do you have any interest or hobby outside of football?
Yeah, I love playing golf.
Who else mentioned that just recently, Phil?
It was it Toby Savin, wasn't it?
Oh, I think so. How good are you? The old.
I'm not very good. I'm not very good at all. It's quite surprising I don't get angry at it.
I'm right there with you. If I break 100, that's a real good day for me.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Well, I know it's a good sport because it's one of those you make a good shot and you want to play again, but there's more bad shots than good shots unless you're like on the pro tour and yeah. Speaking of fun, who has the best sense of humor on the team?
Oh, it's got to be Harry Powell. He's a lunatic.
That's getting to be almost 100% answer.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to scratch that one because it's this. Everybody says Harry Powell. He's a bit. You can tell with some of his tweets.
Who is the class clown in high school?
Yeah. Just on the sort of North American flavor, do you follow any North American sports? If so, which do you like?
I like NBA and NFL.
Do you have any favorite teams? Yeah.
Sorry, say again.
Do you have any favorite teams in those two sports?
I like the Lakers. That's quite typical, to be honest, isn't it? It's quite typical.
I'm a
NFL,
Phoenix Suns guy.
Really, yeah. I ain't really got an NFL team. I just quite enjoy just watching it.
Well, there's a good series on basketball. I don't know if you've noticed it, Phil. I don't know. It's on the TV now on HBO. I don't know if they get it over in the UK. And it's about Jerry Buss and when he bought the Lakers and how he transformed the team. And it's a pretty good series. So if you get to see it, I think it's Building the Dynasty of the Lakers, it's called. So if you ever get a chance to watch that, Mitch, I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll have a look. I'll see if it's on Prime TV or anything. Should be somewhere.
There was a book one time by Phil Jackson. I think the book was called The Last Season, and it was basically it was the in between his coaching stints. It was like after the first time he retired from the Lakers, and it kind of really went into a lot of the conflicts between him and Kobe and Shaq. And it was a really, really good book. So that's what I really recommend. And of course, if you're a basketball fan today over here in the U.S., the big March Madness college basketball tournament where there's 32 games on between today and tomorrow. So plenty of basketball this time of year.
Yeah.
That Lakers, it's kind of interesting because Jerry Buss was basically buying the team on borrowing money, and he really didn't have much of a background he wasn't very rich. He just borrowed money all over the place, and how he did what he did was really sort of was the smoke and mirrors. But he certainly
lucky he had Jerry Wester. I'll tell you that.
Well, I think getting Magic Johnson
as this general manager,
getting Magic Johnson didn't hurt either.
No, that was a pretty good draft.
This one just asked. I wanted to ask Mitch: is who on the team has the most tattoos?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
I know
John O'Sullivan's got quite a few. I've got quite a few.
Yeah, I think you'll be in the running, won't you?
Yeah, yeah. I think. Oh, I'll tell you what. Jay, our big centre half, has quite a few tattoos. To be fair,
right? Okay.
I think he might have the most.
I think last season you weren't around when this fellow was around, but he had a lot. Was Cameron Burgess?
Yes, the lads always talk about him. They love him. Yeah.
And do you have a favorite? Just to wrap up, do you have a favorite takeaway?
Yeah, I do. I love a chip shop.
Oh, yeah.
Fish and chips.
Yes. Fish and chips, mushy peas. You can't go wrong with that. Hey, Phil, you'd love that after a few pints of Accy ale, I'll tell you.
I'll have, if they've got the chicken strips, then I'm not a fish person. I don't eat any fish or anything.
Well,
like
you
that.
just have to have a meat potato pie. Meat potato pie, chips, peas, and gravy. You can't beat that.
I'll go with the chicken strips and chips. I'll try the mushy peas. I'll try the mushy peas, but the black pudding, like I said, I'm not eating that.
Oh yeah, no, black pudding. It's that's one of the first things I have when I come over is black pudding. We said, I know you said your family follows Newcastle. Was that your boyhood team, or did you have one when you were growing up? Like sort of was your main team?
No, yeah, that was my boyhood team from the moment I can remember, to be honest. I had a Newcastle shirt on. That's my dad's fault though, but I guess it's not a bad time to support them right now.
No, certainly they've with the income of money, they certainly got themselves out of trouble. And I think they're going to be safe. And I fear for my boyhood team, which is Burnley. I think it's going to come down to them, or I can't believe I'm saying Everton's in that, and also Leeds could be in trouble, and Watford. Well, Watford, hopefully Watford go down, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, that's it for me, Bill. Over to you.
Not an Elton John fan.
Well, I mean, I want three other teams to go down rather than Burnley. That's all.
Oh. Can Man United be one of them?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, is that it for the rapid fire, Tony?
Yeah, that's it for me, Phil.
Okay, well, the last thing that we had kind of talked about before we went into the rapid fire was that you like to get forward with your style of play, and there's really no better example of that than the Sunderland match. Can you describe the goal, and did you think that Ethan was going to pass it to you? And tell us about the Alan Shearer goal celebration.
Yeah, it was a weird one because we were down to 10 men, and they obviously took the corner, and I seen that he was lining up to shoot, and I thought, well, if Toby catches this, I'm running. And I seen him catch it, so I just thought, I'll just start running, sprinting. I thought nothing of it, and then obviously got the ball, and then I seen him square the ball to me, an open goal, and I thought, oh my God, my brain was ticking. I was thinking, please don't miss. And as I scored, I just had in my head straight away, just do the Shearer celebration. I was going to run over the Sunderland fans for it. It was only for 1-1, so I thought, I can't be that much of a idiot.
But the defender had almost caught you up at the time. Did you feel his presence?
No, not when it happened. It was only when I watched it back, I didn't realise how close he was to get it back. So I think if I knew he was there, I think I would have actually probably missed.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I think most people expected Ethan to take the shot, but when he passed it over, I think everybody was thinking the same thing. You just put it on the net, and then you got a goal. But I think it just showed the character, and I think that's what all about the team is. Down to 10 men, you're playing Sunderland. Everybody expects them to win, and yet there's the two of you still going forward, and a really well placed ball from Toby. Sort of, it could change the match all completely.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with what you're saying. I think obviously this season's been a bit of a weird one, especially with our home form being so good and on away form being bad. I think, like you said, if our away form was a little bit better, I think we could be right up there because we're a very good team.
And with that, I talked about, and Phil mentioned about the wing back position. Do you prefer then to the formation 3-5-2 formation over the 4-4-2? Does that allow you more opportunity to go forward?
It's a difficult one, that. I think when I started playing wing back this year, I would probably said 4-4-2 would prefer me. But now, as I'm playing the position more, I'm starting to enjoy the wing back role because I'm starting to be being a more of a threat going forward. So yeah, I'm enjoying that at the minute.
I think that it gives you more opportunities, like you said, to go forward and maybe a chance to be a bit more creative.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, I'm not going to be that winger that's got a load of step overs in him. So I've got to try to adapt my game with a bit of pace and trying to help Colby with some crosses.
This is a question I could ask in rapid fire, but when you, Phil and Mitch, you both mentioned that use the word pace. Who would be the fastest player in a short sprint? Like from the goal line to halfway.
Well, young Reece Fenlon's really quick.
Yeah.
John O'Sullivan on a short sprint would be up there, and Yabs would be very quick.
And A fella that came on, Marcel Lewis, that played on Wednesday. He seems to have a bit of pace about him as well, doesn't he?
Yes, he's a little tricky shit, pardon my French.
Well, I mean, is he that small, or is it just because he stands next to Harry Pell? But he looks small.
No, so I was probably the smallest in the team till he come about. So he's smaller than me, which makes me happy.
How did you come to do the long throw too? You got a good throw on you.
It was a weird one. So we, Tommy Lee, obviously he's got the longest throw in the team. So when he's playing, he'll take him. But he weren't playing one game, and we were doing a training session, and I took a throw, and Jimmy, the gaffer, was like, "Where's that come from?" So from then on, I started taking throw-ins, which probably doesn't help me because my back's in pieces from it.
I thought you were going to say it was watching the Lakers and seeing Kobe throw the long outlet pass. Over the years, you've been with some clubs with some big name managers, Steve Bruce, Dean Smith at Villa, and now, of course, even at a small club like Accrington Stanley, you have a bit of a legendary staff with John, Jimmy, and John. What's it been like, playing for such big name managers so early in your career?
It's quite like surreal when you look back on it, because it's when you're growing up, when you're younger, like you just dream of being a footballer, and then to realise that you're playing under these kind of managers and playing around these sort of players, like when I was at Villa training with Jack Grealish day in, day out, it's quite crazy to think like what it is like. But regards to the gaffer, Accrington, and Jimmy, John, they're such good people. Regards to like they're your gaffer, but also like they can have banter. Like it's a really good atmosphere when they're around.
Now, other than, of course, the current Accrington staff, what manager would you say has had the biggest impact on your career before you came to Accrington?
I'd probably have to say Steve Bruce, just because he obviously gave me my debut when I was at Villa. He's the one that sent me out on loan to gain first team experience, and he obviously got sacked when I was out on loan, so it was a weird one. Obviously, I didn't see him when I come back to Villa, and obviously when I went back to Villa, Villa released me with a new manager, so it was a weird time. But yeah, definitely Steve Bruce. I owe him quite a lot for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, we've heard that that's always kind of a difficult situation when a manager gets sacked. The guy that's there isn't the guy that brought you in, and it just seems like a good percentage of the time that the new manager will have his guys that he wants, and then you would end up parting ways, and it kind of sounds like that maybe happened in that situation.
Yeah, 100%. I remember meeting the assistant manager halfway through my loan spell, and he just said to me, "Look, we can't see you playing for Villa's first team, so at the end of the season, we're going to let you go." And to be honest, I took it quite well. It didn't really hit me till I actually left Villa. So obviously, regards to playing while still on loan, it weren't probably mentally good for me, but I took it well. So, but it's part of being a footballer, to be honest, and you learn that as you get older.
Well, it's still got to be difficult when you've been there since your youth time. I know that's probably got to be the most difficult is the first time that you're leaving that first team that you were on.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, the first time I got released from a club, like you always know in your back of your head that can happen. But when it come to the time, it was a difficult moment because you don't know where you're going to end up next. And lucky for me, I ended up going to Leicester, which was another big club to go to.
Well, you talk about, and that happens in a lot of clubs, and I think probably Accrington is one of the most unusual ones in that the manager is going to be there from one season to the next. That's got to be, from a player perspective, when you perform and the manager rewards you for your performance, that's got to be comforting, knowing that the manager is going to be there next season, kind of thing. It's got to help you out, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I think obviously when you're playing under a manager and you're playing for so long, you get used to their tactics, you get used to their personality, and obviously the lads, regarding our gaffer, the lads obviously love him, and like he's just part of the group. But as you can tell, Accrington's quite a family in regards to like the supporters, the chairman, the backroom staff, the kit men, the groundsmen, the players. Everyone just enjoys each other's company.
Yeah, I mean, with performing the way you have this season and getting into a lot of matches and really sort of contributing to the team, you've got next season to come. And could you see yourself staying at Stanley any longer than a couple of years if the opportunity was there, or?
Yeah, of course. If the opportunity was there, I'd 100% be down to staying at Accrington. It's a good club, and obviously it's helping me progress, and all I want to do is continue to progress. And if that's with Accrington, then I'm happy to be there.
Well, we're definitely happy to have you with the club, and hope that we'll see you in an Accrington shirt for many years to come. Tony, did you have a couple more questions here?
Well, I'd be interested to get Mitch's thoughts on the new facilities, because I mean I've been there in the old one. I haven't seen the new one yet, but I mean, for a small club like Stanley to have these new facilities, how important do you think that is to a small club the size of Accrington?
To be honest, it just shows how far the club's got come from. So many years ago, you can tell the club's grown and it's going in the right direction. And if anything, it's only going to continue to grow.
Well, and next year, for next season, you'll have the new changing rooms, which are well under construction. So maybe that might maybe that and a few more quid in the pay packet might help you stay a bit.
Yeah, the new training changing rooms, get words out. They're being built currently. It's only been the poles, but they're going to be huge, and it's quite weird seeing how big the new ones are going to be compared to the old cabins.
It's just brilliant seeing all the progress, and like you said, I mean, that the growth of the club from year to year is just amazing. And I've been following Stanley closely for about 5 years now, and like Dave Burgess said when he came on a few weeks ago, every day there's a brick being laid, concrete being poured. There's something being done to make the infrastructure of the club better, and that's something that's going to not just help this year and next year, but it lays the groundwork for Accrington Stanley to continue to move up the ranks for years to come.
Yeah, it's like when I first joined, a lot of things were just starting to be built, and obviously the new bar that's been built is like one that was getting built, so those holes in the wall, and then to see the finishing touch it's just unreal, to be honest. To think that is there, and it's really good for the fans as well to interact with the players after the games and that.
Well, I think with the squad that John has built and a lot of returnees coming back next season, there's no reason why this team couldn't push for a playoff position in League One next season, is there, Mitch?
No, 100%. It's like this season, obviously, we've had results that ain't gone our way, which we know we should have done better. But there's not been a time where we've come up into a game and thought, these are better than us. We've always backed ourselves. We've always thought we could win every game. And there's no way... Why next year we can't look to get the playoffs or further?
Well, I think, yeah, because I mean, unfortunately, the injuries have played a part, and I suppose they do in a lot of seasons. But having Joe Pritchard out has been a bit of a setback. But I mean, it's an when a player is out, and we talked about the suspension. It's an opportunity for people to come in and prove themselves. Liam Coyle's done it. Tommy Lee's done it. I mean, you got to take that opportunity when it comes around.
Yeah, of course. It's a big squad anyway, so if you lose your place, someone else can take it. But there's no bad eggs, so everyone encourages each other and wants what's best for each other.
Yeah, and hopefully going. And John Coleman said there's no easy games in League One, and I think this Saturday proves that away to Plymouth Argyle are playing well and are pushing for a playoff position. It's going to be a tough match, but it's going to be a tough match. But hopefully you get in the match. Hopefully you start, Mitch, and we come away with 3 points. But I want to thank you for taking the time to join with us today and have a nice chat and talk about you and your career. And we are across the pitch are thrilled to have you on and pleased that you're part of the Stanley family.
No, I appreciate it. I really enjoyed our chat, and hopefully we can go on in the future.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping I've got my tickets booked for my trip over in August. So I'll be there having a couple of pints, and hopefully we'll get to say hello to you next August, September when I'm over.
Yeah, 100%. All for it. Just let me know, and I'll sort your top out as well.
Yeah. Cheers, Phil.
No. Yeah, absolutely. And Mitch, thank you so much for taking the time. And like you said, Accrington Stanley, from the chairman all the way down to the supporters, we are a family here, and couldn't be happier to have you as part of the Stanley family. And going back to what you said, there are no bad eggs on the team, and that goes back to John Coleman. He knows just the right omelet to put together every year.
That's a bad one. That's a bad joke, Phil. I'll tell you one thing: you're cracking me up with those jokes, Phil. Come on.
But like we said, we hope to see you for years to come in a Stanley shirt, and wish you continued success wherever your career takes you. And thanks again for joining us today. We always like to finish up with an on Stanley on. So on 3, here we go. 1, 2, 3. On Stanley on.
Stanley on.
Cheers, Mitch.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
No worries. Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers.
Have a great one. Thank you.
See ya. Bye.